So I think we'll start, everyone. So thank you very much for joining us. This is the first in our series of Masterclass webinars. So as you might know, Dragon Trail, sometimes with different partners, has a monthly webinar. And this month we're having a Masterclass webinar, and we've decided to focus on a particular vertical, and that's hotels. So we're calling this webinar Beyond Inspiration, Harnessing the Full Power of WeChat Through the Customer Experience. Now, I guess what we're getting at here is that we're all quite familiar with WeChat now as a marketing channel, particularly content marketing, some campaigns, but we want to start thinking about WeChat further down the funnel or further around the customer journey. That's things like engagement, customer service, loyalty. So let's get started. So the agenda for the webinar will start actually with our partner and friend, Joseph Wang, from TravelDaily. So he'll be talking about some hotel trends, innovations, and opportunities. So he's joining us for the webinar this month. And then we'll jump onto WeChat for hotels. So looking at WeChat at multiple touch points in a hotel customer journey. And that will be delivered by our CEO, George Cao. And then we'll have a look more specifically at messaging, WeChat messaging customer service for hotels, and our product Kan Talk. And I'll introduce that for everyone. So we kind of gave you an introduction to the speakers already. George Cao, CEO, Joseph Wang from TravelDaily China and China Travel News. Thanks for joining us. And myself, Director of Business Development in Dragon Trail Interactive. So as you probably know, very quick introduction, Dragon Trail Interactive. We're a 100% China travel and digital focused agency. We provide traditional marketing services to travel brands to reach Chinese consumers. We also provide innovative travel trade marketing solutions through WeChat, and we also provide technology solutions. We have in-house technical capacity. So we were founded in 2009 in response to the growing trend in China outbound travel. And ever since, we've been serving exclusively travel brands, helping them reach Chinese consumers in the Chinese travel trade online. We now have offices in 5 places: Beijing, our headquarters, Shanghai, Xi'an, our R&D center, London, and an office in Lexington in the USA. We serve clients across, I think, every continent now. So we exclusively work for the travel industry. So many great destinations, a whole bunch of hotel brands, groups and individual hotels, and then many transportation and other attraction businesses, all hoping to reach Chinese travelers and attract them to go outbound. So getting past that introduction quickly, we're going to hand over to Joseph Wang from TravelDaily China so he can talk about some innovation and opportunities in China's hospitality industry.
Hi, good afternoon. Can everyone hear me? Hello?
Yes, we can. We can hear you, Joseph.
Yeah, good. I'm Joseph Wang, Chief Commercial Officer of TravelDaily China, also ChinaTravelNews.com. We are China's leading online publisher and event organizer focused on distribution, marketing, and technology in travel, hotel, airline, and tourism industries. So thanks, George, for inviting me to speak at this slot. This afternoon, I will share with you how new players in China, new technologies here are driving the change in the Chinese hotel market and what's in store for China for the coming years. So let me quickly get into my topics. So next slides. So next slides, please. Yeah. This gentleman, Glenn Fogel, is CEO of Booking Holdings. He said in our conference last year, if you want to be successful in China, you absolutely have to localize. Things are changing so rapidly here. Innovation is unbelievable. It's really amazing that people in the Western world sometimes think, oh, China, they are catching up and copying what we do. They are wrong. China is a cutting edge. Pepin, the CMO of Booking.com, believe that localization in China is more about reinvention because there are so many things which are very interestingly either better or different in China compared with the rest of the world. Like the ground transportation is very likely one of the first things that Booking.com wants to make available to Chinese people. But at the same time, I'd also argue that when looking at companies like Ctrip, the biggest OTA in China, the second largest one in the world, they already have these services. So Booking.com can't just do a Me Too kind of thing. They need to make it they need to make it better. Okay, next slide. One day a few weeks ago, I found my 14-year-old daughter was using apps to do her homework, which was to help a foreigner to make a like 3 days travel plan in Beijing. And surprisingly, she was using Meituan. I asked her, why don't you use Ctrip? She said, in our school, everyone get used to search on Meituan for local activities, local museums, food, and tickets to attractions, something like that. And we have never heard of Ctrip. Okay, that's a good example. In China, we call it higher frequency beat lower frequency policy. So if you first succeeded to satisfy a user demand with higher frequency and then cut into another demand area with relatively lower frequency, you will have more natural advantages, especially in the online traffic world. So yeah, but be honest, Ctrip has made great achievements in China for the past 20 years. They started their business from focusing on satisfied demand of unmanaged business travelers about 20 years ago, and they changed them from offline to online. And Qunar, I'm not sure you heard of this giant. They started from focusing on leader travelers 10 years ago. They transferred these travelers from PC to mobile. So today, or probably maybe in the next few years, Meituan will start from a local activities, local entertainment, local life, and then trying to redefine travel. Next slide, please. Yeah, this chart shows that China is defining the mobile travel. China is leading in mobile travel. China leads the world in mobile booking as a share of online travel gross bookings. In fact, China's mobile gross bookings alone would be the third largest travel market in Asia, even larger than Southeast or Northeast Asia. Next picture. Yeah, this I just collected this data yesterday afternoon. It shows that in China, if you look at some of the share of loyalty members of some famous hotel chains. Sorry, you cannot see that hotel chains the name clearly. So yeah, that will not make them in trouble by age group. So you can see the 1980s are undoubtedly now the main force for of the consumer in China in the hotel industry. And 1990s are playing an increasingly important role this years, especially last year. The 1990s exceeded 1970s to become the second largest consumption force last year. So this is a picture of Chinese consumers today who like a hotel guest. And also things changing really fast. Big OTAs like Ctrip, Meituan, Fliggy come up with new ideas frequently as consumers are changing. Around 75% of people who book online are under 35 years old. The lead time is also getting down, less than 7 days for international trips. And we see more booking on the same day and last minute booking. Hotels need to understand trends like also a bladder. You're familiar with it's a mix of the business and bladder. It's another, and I think it's one of the biggest trends maybe in the next 10 years. And how do they define younger generations? So, yeah, this one is about Club Med. Club Med recently launched a new line of resorts in China. It's called the Joy Wheel, targeting the increasingly sophisticated and affluent Chinese family consumers. Club Med managed a double-digit growth in China last year. The Joy Wheel is a new brand for them in China. The Joy Wheel resorts will mainly be located in smaller cities within 3 hours drive from the main cities. And the strategy is shifting from hotel marketing to destination marketing to local activities, which will be more suitable for the taste of OTAs like Meituan, as Meituan is focusing on weekend vacation, which is more about selling a period of time instead of simply just guest rooms. And next page is about a new brand you may not be familiar with, but it's a fastly expanding lifestyle hotel brand called Atour. Atour is now getting more and more popular among especially the millennials in China. Basically, Atour wants to differentiate themselves as a time and space solution provider instead of a bed and breakfast hotel, to fill the gap of mid-end hotels with more personalized services, higher ROI in social marketing, spending, and revenue beyond rooms. So this is a tour. Next page, please. Yeah, this is also some pictures about a tour. The line between retailing and the hotel is blurring. So we should look at how a tour is going to change the traditional hotel business model. Next page. Yeah, and also next page. Yeah, this is you may not familiar with. This is the one of the largest hotel chain in China. It's called China Lodging Group. Is largest one in terms of the market cap. So it's also the China Lodging Group is also betting on technology to improve customer experience and operational efficiencies. For example, this picture shows how they are leveraging AI-powered chatbot on the homepage of their official apps to improve the customer experience throughout the entire customer journey. It's not only about booking. It's not only about the customers' touch points before arrival. It's more about customers' needs, customers how to solve the customer pain point during the stay. And someone from China Lodging Group told me last month that based on the customer requests collected by the chatbot, you can look at the right picture. It's a chatbot frame. The most frequently asked questions from the customers are borrow items from the housekeeping, like high dryer. And second one is request services like morning call and luggage storing, and also purchasing urgent items like bathroom amenities, something like that. So all these scenarios are happened during the stay period. So that will give another indication that how Chinese hotel chains are using apps to improve their customer service during the customer stay. So this might be a great example for international brands like Club Med to learn, as Club Med are still using the apps or using their WeChat account as a marketing tool, not a tool for during the whole customer journey. So next page, please. Yeah, this is one nowadays when you are in China, you can check in, just scan the QR code with WeChat, and it will read customer information from the PMS. And those who haven't pre-selected rooms can do it at this moment and get the key out confirming their identities through facial recognitions. You can use this kind of services in some cities like Suzhou or Hangzhou in China now. Next page, please. This is the company called TravelDaily. It's a Hong Kong-based chatbot service startup focusing on smart travel recommendations via social media platforms. TravelDaily is currently expanding their data-enabled service from Facebook Messenger to the chat mini program. The most frequently asked questions handled by the chatbot was about itineraries, which was during the customer stay. This questions comprises about 72% of the users. It's about itineraries, and followed by catering options, 70%, and local transfer, 60%. Users also show interest in joining a one-day or half-day tour, and they tend to ask a chatbot for directions when they are traveling on their own at destinations. Next page, please. Also, we see some tourism bureau like Visit Sydney or Visit London are using the mini program not as just promotion tool, but also like assistant during the customer's visit in destinations. They can give you some personalized recommendations based on your location, based on your personalized questions. So this might be a new trend. Also, can tell us how hotels or some other activity providers should think about use of the WeChat mini program in the future. Next page, please. Yeah, this is interesting. This is about how to say that? The robot. I think robot is reshaping the hotel customer service. It's not only about an interactive in the lobby, but also today, some hotels have already trying to get rid of the minibar, the traditional minibar, and then to change that into our QR code, and then the guest can scan the QR code and get even richer selections of soft drinks or some food or whatever, and then you can purchase it via your apps or via your WeChat account, and then the robot can deliver that even a food box or some drinks to your room after 15 or 20 minutes. Next page, please. Yeah, this is a comparison between some old experiences now in hotel stay is taking place by the new experience like this. So the old traditional hotel suite has already been taken place by this kind of social media interaction platform apps or on their WeChat account. So that first, that will get more efficient for the customer's feedback. And the second, they can get pictures, they can get some customer reviews as quickly as possible, and then hotel can give feedback immediately. And also this data are also being collected through this electronic platform. Next page, please. Also, this I already mentioned about traditional hotel minibar have been taking place by them, the QR code and also the robot delivery service in some of the hotels in China. Next page, please. And also, the customers' pain points, one is that they have to take their very heavy luggages. If they have 4 hours or 5 hours spare time to visit the city, but they don't want to take this luggage with them. So some hotels you can send an order when you check out, and then there's some third-party companies will deliver your luggage to airport directly for you, and then you can get your luggage when you arrived in the airport in about 3 hours. So you can have more time to relax, to explore the city life. Next page, please. Yeah, also you heard of Mobike is really popular among the first and second tier cities in China. I think it's not just a transportation tool, but also that enables the new generation, the travelers, to explore even deeper city life, or they get some new experiences when they are visiting a city like Beijing or Shanghai. Next page, please. And also, according to Meituan's report, 9 to 10% of, Meituan is a mix of food delivery and TripAdvisor and Groupon in China. It's a mix of lifestyle mobile platform. So Meituan reported that 9 to 10% of their food deliveries are sent directly to the hotel rooms. So will food delivery service take place of the traditional room service? So how hotel room service or catering department to understand today's consumers' demand or consumers' pain point when they are staying in the hotel, and to change their services and to meet the customers' needs is a new challenge for especially the traditional hotels in China. Next page, please. This is now my. I
think that's all your.
So finally, yeah. So let me give you a summary that 400 million millennials in China alone presents a huge and dynamic opportunity to travel brands globally. Even you are a hotel brand, no matter if they're big and small, this is your cake. So however, the restructuring of customer base, the increasingly diversified customer needs, the emerging new media channels like Douyin or WeChat, and also the evolving technological innovations are all pushing the hotel industry to refine their offering to satisfy the changing demand. So because of this demographic, the millennials, the 1995s, they want to have the same experience across all devices. They want to have one-on-one customer service 24 hours, 7 days, before, during, and after the stay. And also most important, they want to do everything they want at home while traveling. So thank you for everyone. And if you have any questions, please raise your hand or ask me later. Thank you.
Okay, we're going to hand over to George.
Thank you very much, Joseph. All right.
Over to you.
Thank you, Joseph, for giving an overview of the innovation in the market. That's one of the things that we don't lack in the Chinese hospitality market. I think what I'll do is I'll switch gear a little bit to talk about some of the tactics and specifically focus on WeChat. We know many hotel brands have started on WeChat and are putting more and more emphasis on this channel. And a lot of the brands are actually facing challenges. The formula of using, setting up a WeChat account, attract followers, and then expect to convert. That simple formula is not working very well for many brands. And one of the reasons is to attract new fans using content stopped working. And the reason for that is because the attention and traffic are really gravitating towards the head of the curve, meaning some of the big self-media platforms. If you look at an account like ETL, every post they publish, in a few minutes, the post views will exceed 100,000. But if you look at some of the hotel brands, Saxon, can you go to the next slide, please? So this is a ranking of the hotel WeChat accounts that we publish on a weekly basis. If you look at the weekly number of views for these leading brands, we're looking at fairly small numbers. Even for the top ranking account, we're only seeing 24,000 total post views for the whole week. On average, is only 4,000 views per post. This is extremely small in comparison to some of the head of the curve account like ETL, like 24 Hour, and many others. And also, if you're looking at the accounts run by Meituan and Ctrip on WeChat, their accounts are also attracting a lot of attention and a lot of traffic. So, as hotel brands, what can we do? This is a book that was published by WeChat a couple of years ago called WeChat Thinking. And the guy next to the book is the founder of WeChat, Zhang Xiaolong. One of the things that Zhang Xiaolong believed from the very beginning of WeChat is this is the platform that if you make it useful to your users, and if you make it a utility, instead of just relying on content, you will thrive. And if you just focus on content, then you have to drop into advertising, you have to rely on KOL to drive traffic. And even with that, the traffic might not be very highly qualified. So one of the things now we're talking to all of our clients who are also facing these challenges. One of the things we're brainstorming with all of our clients is how do we solve this problem? Can we go to the next slide? So this is where hotels actually have a advantage in comparison to some of the OTAs and some of the content producers in the WeChat ecosystem. And the advantage is this point of contact throughout the guest journey. The OTAs will only deliver, the pre-booking experience, and the booking experience after that, they're not in touch, at least not in physical touch with the guests anymore. The hotels, even when you're not in touch with the guests pre-booking and during booking, you still have the in-stay experience, which can last for a number of days. So the idea we're sharing to a lot of our clients is this is where hotels should focus their attention. Instead of just focusing on content and looking at use content to attract fans and followers, you should focus on delivering utilities at each touch point, not just the pre-booking phases, but during stay phases and post-stay phases. Let's go to the next slide. Just quickly, some statistics. pre-booking, based on research, 80% of Chinese travelers go online to search for travel information. Next slide. And 94% will visit a price comparison website, during the booking process or the pre-booking process. Next slide, please. And 97% of the Chinese millennials share their travel experience while in destination and when they come back. Next slide. And while they're in destination, whenever these two payment methods are available, they're using, 90% of them, at least within the mainland China, when these payments are available, most people use these payments. So this will just give you some statistics so you can see the opportunities at various touch points along the guest journey. Let's move to the next slide. So now we get back to this guest journey. Let's get into the details of each touch point. What can we do? Saxon, can you click a few times to get all the text? Maybe go back. Okay. So the text are not showing up. That's fine. That's fine. I'll talk through this. So if you look at the very beginning of the guest contact in the guest journey during the inspiration phase, this is where hotels are focusing right now. So you're publishing a lot of content. You're trying to use this content to increase brand awareness, to inspire people to stay with your brand. I think you're all doing as good a job as you can, probably in this phase already. If you want to do more, I think focus on two areas. One is WeChat advertising, but think about how you target. And second is leveraging more relevant KOLs. During evaluation, this is where I think the hotel brands are not doing a good enough job yet. One of the first things we talk to our hotel clients when they look to us for conversions and bookings is, give me 3 reasons for a consumer to book your hotel. That's the first question we ask. The second question, they all give me very good answers for the first question. Everybody knows their unique selling points, their brand advantages. When we get to the second question, give me 3 reasons why they should book direct. This is where a lot of clients will stumble. They will say, we deliver the best price guarantee, but if you compare your pricing to what they can get on Ctrip or Meituan, you don't have a price advantage. If you look at your booking process, you have to go through 7 or 8 different steps to complete a booking. You require a credit card guarantee. When you go to Ctrip, it's a 2-step, 3-step process, and without a credit card guarantee. So there are a lot of reasons for people not to book direct, than reasons for them to book direct. So this is where, at this touch point, hotels really need to focus on, articulate the reasons for them to book direct. Some of the examples are, if you're a member of our brand, of our loyalty program, if you book direct, you get additional advantages. You get direct, you get additional perks, you get your points. If you don't book direct, maybe you don't get it. There are other advantages that you can provide to the people who will use your direct booking channel to book direct, but that needs to be really articulated on both WeChat and on your website. Now, when you move to the booking phase, many hotel companies start to look at developing a mini program maybe to allow booking to happen within their WeChat account. They're also investing in technology, in connectivity to their booking engines to make mobile booking available within WeChat. our advice in this area is look at the expected volume first before making technology investment decisions. If you are, a large hotel brand, you are expecting a high volume through this particular channel, by all means, build all the connectivities you need to Synexus or whatever booking engine you're using. But if you're just beginning in the market, and especially if the volume hasn't picked up yet, our advice would be look at some of the services, low-cost ways to deliver a booking instead of investing, all the technology to make the booking automated. Example would be if you use a customer service, WeChat-based customer service to help someone book. The user experience will be just as good, if not better, if you give them just a mobile page or even a mini program to book. And if your agents can handle the volume, I would recommend you to go down that path. Get your call center employees to take, incoming inquiries and requests to make bookings that way. And when you get to a point when the volume starts to increase tremendously and you cannot handle anymore, and that's the point you need to invest into connectivity and into mini programs and mobile booking facilities. Before you get to that point, don't do it. Focus on using guest services to articulate why they should book direct with you and provide that booking experience. Very easy. Tell me where you want to go and how long you're staying. I'll send you a confirmation. Do that for a period of time, and before you get the volume up. So, but when you get to a point where the volume is coming up, do look at localizing your booking path instead of just using a white label, CRS booking engine. Really localize the steps that take for a user to book. If you go to leadinghotels.com or Leading Hotels official WeChat account, and you compare that booking path on the mobile booking page to a white labeled booking engine, you will see some significant differences between those two versions. One is localized, one looks pretty much like a Ctrip booking experience or Elong booking experience. The other still looks like a Booking.com or Expedia booking experience, which is quite Western oriented, sometimes just still requiring an email for people to complete a booking, which is a big hurdle for a lot of local users. If you do provide prepaid bookings, really look at the payment options from WeChat. If you're enabling Alipay won't work within your WeChat account, make WeChat payment work if you're selling prepaid rooms. If you're not selling prepaid rooms, WeChat payment probably doesn't make sense during this stage. You should just focus on, maybe removing that credit card guarantee requirement and see if you can increase conversion. Now, when you get to the pre-arrival stages, if you start to provide a service through WeChat, then you can look at a lot of the pre-arrival care that you used to do through emails, a pre-arrival email to remind the customers about weather in your destination, to remind the customers of the guests about, local activities in the destination during their stay, and whatever pre-arrival care you provide to the customers. And if you provide these services through WeChat, it will become a lot more user-friendly. If they initiate a conversation with you during the booking phase or after the booking phase, you always have 48 hours to get back to them to keep that conversation going. And if they respond, you extended your lease for another 48 hours. So look at, ways of continuing that conversation all the way till they arrive at your hotel. You know, when you get to the during stay phase, this is really where hotels has a huge competitive advantage over OTAs and any, you know, a middleman in this booking process, because you have a face-to-face contact with the guests. They will actually have to use your Wi-Fi network. They will interact with the service staff. Joseph mentioned, you know, during their stays, if they offer intelligent guest services through WeChat, a lot of them will, you know, direct a lot of their in-room services through this channel. Requests for extra pillows, for, you know, extra bottled water, you know, bed sheets, you know, things like that. They might even, if you do provide a good experience, they might even use your WeChat services for in-room dining. There are many other touch points during their stay. Look at optimizing those. You know, you might ask a question at this point. You say, you know, I'm during all these pre-arrival stages and during stay stages, I'm dealing with my guests. These are people who are staying with me already, but I need to really attract the people who hasn't booked with me yet. You know, that's a question everybody will have. But look at this as an indirect way of getting that engagement and that attraction for new fans. If the guests are having a good experience on WeChat, they will share their experience even during their stay onto WeChat. And in that moment, a time feed is where you will get your influence. And I can guarantee you will get a lot more post views on those posts than the posts you send out through your official WeChat account. And this is a kind of an indirect way to get, you know, your impact. This is the UGC kind of way, right? Obviously, during the advocacy stages, you also have a lot more opportunities to encourage the users to share their experiences. With the right data tracking, you can then reward the people who actually make a difference. You know, even if 100 users are sharing, not all of them are generating the same impact for you. Without data tracking, they're all equal to you. But with careful data tracking, you will know which user had actually generated the most impact for your content. And those are the users you should try to engage post-stay for your future campaigns. So throughout the journey, there are two things that are important for hotels, especially those are not having a huge volume yet on booking through the WeChat channel. The first is data. You really need to look at capturing data, obviously within the, you know, the scope of GDPR. Capture as much data with the guest permission as you can, and map the data between your social channels and your web channels to try to get that overall, you know, guest profile as much as you can. Once you have that data, then you can use that data for more targeted advertising, for more targeted content distribution, and obviously for more personalized experiences on WeChat and also on your web channel. The other thing that will give you a lot of returns on your investment, I qualify this especially for people who don't have a huge volume yet, is messaging. Messaging is an integral part of your official account, but many brands are ignoring that messaging, only use it for an occasional guest comment. That messaging channel should be leveraged for you know, convincing someone that they should book with you and they should book with you direct. That messaging channel should be used to deliver pre-arrival care. That messaging channel should be used to deliver all the in-stay, the in-hotel, in-room services that you can provide. And that messaging channel should also be leveraged to encourage people to share, you know, your brand content on their moments. So if you focus on those two components, you know, data, messaging, while you're delivering that guest experience, we believe your return on investment on this WeChat channel will be significantly improved. Then I have a slide, which is an example of a somewhat good WeChat account. I don't know how much they're doing on the data side. On the back end, I cannot see. They're obviously still not providing good enough messaging services yet, but this is a good start. If you look at the SPG member club, they're delivering member services through their WeChat account. They're delivering booking services through the WeChat account. They're also delivering food and beverage services through this WeChat account. And they're also doing campaigns and engagement, activities within this account. This is I would say if I have to rank this, I will rank this as on a scale of 1 to 10, this will probably stay at a 6 to 7. And most other hospitality WeChat accounts will stay below 5. So with that, I end my section, and then we'll hand over to Saxon to talk about some specific solutions that you can leverage in this, kind of WeChat way of thinking that we just described.
Okay, so hopefully everyone can hear me. I know we've had to switch between a few people and devices and things today. So I think a theme that emerged a little bit from George and Joseph's comments is really how do we engage our guests, that cohort of people that are coming through the hotels every day in their hundreds. How do we leverage them and turn them into ambassadors? How do we collect more data to encourage loyalty, to create that feedback loop for the customer journey? And one of the key planks we think of a guest engagement strategy is messaging. Remember, WeChat is, as its founder said, that George mentioned as well, it needs to be a useful channel. It's first and foremost a peer-to-peer messaging network. Yes, brands at some point, a few years after WeChat was launched, were able to start opening official accounts and start sending, let's say, top-down branded communication. But that's not so interactive. That's not engaging. It's not engaging enough potentially to engage your guests to actually do more for your brand. So why messaging? My joke slide, sorry. So how do we get to know each other in real life? We have a conversation. And one of the tools that we use in China for that is WeChat. In our pocket, we have a tool that we can communicate instantaneously with our friends, our family, our colleagues, our boss, everybody. But why can't brands actually use it in that kind of way as well? At the moment, we're seeing too many WeChat accounts for hotels and other travel brands that are a bit too static. They're a bit too idle, let's say. They've got fantastic content and campaigns, even some engagement type campaigns, votes and things like that. But it's not a truly interactive two-way experience. And if we want to engage our guests, we need to know them. We need to know what they want, what they like, what they don't like, and provide that to them through the guest experience. So with the right setup, we think brands can have that genuine two-way conversation with their customers on WeChat, and that's through messaging, we think. And we have developed a product, Can Talk, which delivers this. This is agile and guest engagement with WeChat, using messaging throughout the customer cycle to engage would-be guests, current guests, and past guests. So you can see some examples here of other engagement tools that are out there. George just mentioned one. So the Starwood Rewards program has a quite a utilitarian, let's say, WeChat account for its reward members that provides various customer services. That's a good start. We also saw recently the Hilton mini program come out. So this is a mini program that offers guests kind of like a concierge app, let's say. So they can scan a QR code at the front desk or in their room at some touch point in the hotel. And then when they want to go out to have dinner, when they want to find attractions, they've got location-based services and a map to help them navigate there and maximize their experience inside in the destination. But really, we think if you want to take that kind of servicing to the next level, because it's still kind of, let's say, self-servicing, it's still a little bit passive, it still requires more work from the guests, then you need to add something like messaging. And that's where something like Can comes in. You can have that two-way conversation. So if you're out using the Hilton app Hilton mini program in Shanghai, looking for restaurants and things like that, you can still get directly in touch with a concierge back in the hotel at in a click of a finger and ask them questions that you need, get those nuanced answers that you want while you're in destination to have a better experience. So Just to give you a quick overview of Kankan Talk, on a functional level, we've kind of split it up into 4 quadrants here. And this is a messaging tool that's been designed specifically for travel brands. So contextual intelligence, it's designed to have human service agents, for example, servicing your guests, servicing consumers. But they're powered by AI. So they're receiving contextual service recommendations from the AI to help them provide more efficient, more accurate, faster customer service back to your guests. So they get what they need quickly, because it needs to be fast. It needs to be contextual. There's API enabled product search. So your agents or a chat bot, for example, are able to quickly pull product information about rooms and rates and send them back in a structured fashion to the customer in line with what they're asking about. It's also got some inbuilt automated customer tagging and segmentation, and we'll come back to that a bit later in the deck, but that's quite important for your longer term WeChat marketing strategy. How do you start using WeChat more like a mobile CRM to deliver more targeted marketing campaigns? And it's also set up so that you can plug in your own chatbot. So you may have customer service seats assigned to real people in a call center or through a mobile app in the hotel, and we'll get to that too. But you can also plug in another chatbot to provide customer servicing to your guests. The messaging formats themselves, it supports a range. So voice, pictures, text, and files can all be shared between the agent and the user. And the agent can also send highly structured product content. So they can pull from different templates that we can set up to send back room options, rates, incidental information into kind of like what we would say in Chinese, like a tool-end format. So like a WeChat article, it can be sent back through the interface so that the customer can click it once and get all the information they need in one spot. Like, a call center, it also offers intelligent routing capabilities. So it can support multiple agent groups. So we'll come back to another function that relates to this. But for example, you can have a reservation group set up. So these might be customer service agents using the PC version of Kankan to provide customer services to would-be guests. But then you can also set different hotel customer service staff, concierge and other operational staff up on a mobile app, and they can be servicing guests in the hotel. So it could be concierge services, room service. So there are different agent groups we can set up in the software. And there are also intelligent routing functionalities to connect the customer with the most suitable agent. So we want this to be contextual. You probably remember some of the old online chat tools that, a few years ago, where you might log in and speak to a customer service agent, drop out for a moment. When you go back, everything's gone. We don't want that to happen. We want to have this contextual, because that's what makes this actually useful for the customers. And finally, the data element. I think this is the part that gets a lot of people excited about WeChat in general. There's different things that we've set up in the platform for this. There's two-way CRM connectivity. So we can pull information or data from your CRM, for example, room-related information, et cetera, or customer profile information. We can send back to the customer during the chat. And also, obviously, we can send information and data back to the CRM for storage there. The platform itself has a built-in lightweight CRM. So as customers are scanning a QR code, for example, to open up the chat interface, we're collecting their WeChat Open ID. And then when we're talking to them, when we're getting to know them, as I pointed out before, we're building up some customer profile information that's going to be stored in that lightweight CRM. Are they married? Are they single? Do they have children? Do they travel with their parents, etc.? All of that conversation history is logged for analytics and reporting. So that's a very rich data set that you've got there for ongoing analysis. And also you can review your agent performance in different dimensions. So the productivity, the accuracy, the satisfaction. So as I mentioned, there is a PC version of the messaging platform. So this is quite ideal for example, more a reservation situation, for example, in a call center. So you might have a call center with telephone agents. Some can be switched over to seats on the WeChat platform, Kankan, using a PC interface. But much more interesting, I think, for hotels is that dynamic, agile guest servicing that you need to do on site. So you can have your concierge, the traditional concierge at the desk as normal. Him or her could be providing guests with various advice throughout the day, but during downtime, they can be using the mobile app to service remote guest requests from the room, from outside, from on the way to the airport, on the way back from the airport, various places. So you can actually seriously increase the productivity of your guest servicing team within the hotel. George did a bit of a customer journey, so I'll do a very basic one here. At the research stage, we're comparing, as George showed, we're using price comparison websites in China. We're looking at direct channels. We're looking at Ctrip. There are different pieces of information. It's quite overwhelming. Sometimes we have some nuanced questions that we want to ask, but we're not sure where to go. We might land on someone's WeChat account and see some great information about a deal, etc. But we have some questions that might get us across the line. And if the account is just idle, we might drop out. So we're missing, it's an opportunity cost potentially for a brand, that when a customer that has some intent is coming through to their WeChat account, they don't have another place to go to get more information. At the reservation stage, as George said, we can facilitate a booking through the messaging interface, whether that's the agent booking on your behalf, or at a later stage when volume picks up, connectivity to your CRS, for example, and then possibly a couple of clicks with WeChat payment to book the room. At the check-in stage, before we're checking in, we often have many things that we want from a hotel, many questions that we have about the room, our pillow preferences, airport transfers. We can continue to provide servicing throughout this stage to make the check-in process much more efficient and really provide that premium customer service to our incoming guests to start the good impressions early. Once they arrive, we've got always on concierge services, which we'll get to. And once they depart, there are other things we can do. We can send surveys. We can continue to reach out in different ways through WeChat for loyalty campaigns or next day campaigns, for example. So this is a typical customer journey here on WeChat. You know, I'm cruising my WeChat Moments and I see a nice looking WeChat Moments ad. Not a cheap investment, but something that can be tried to build awareness, build exposure for a brand, for a particular campaign. I click the ad and I come through to the WeChat account and I find some quite nicely designed, rich content on, you know, customer loyalty program. If I sign up now, I get some free points, or maybe a pre-booked room campaign with a heavy discount that I can pay with WeChat payment. Great offers and great content, but I still have some questions. There's still some nuances that I want to discover about the product, about the particular promotion. But I have nowhere to go. And for that, I think that's a potential opportunity cost for brands. Brands are not really sure in a lot of cases what's happening with these customers with intent. You know, they're acquiring fans through an ad campaign, for example, and then nothing's happening on the conversion front. And there's possibly not tracking the data in a way where they can discover what happened. But they do see potentially there's a conversion problem. And I think that's where some kind of messaging service can come into play, where there's an opportunity to talk to us on WeChat right now, where I can get an easy answer to my questions, and where the brand has the opportunity, the chance, you know, we can't guarantee it, but the chance to persuade a conversion. At the booking stage, as we said, there's the do it for me. You know, agents can book on a customer's behalf. And when you're at a relatively low volume stage, as George said, we think that's a cost-effective way, you know, and also a highly engaging, personalized way to provide bookings. It's easy for the customer, and it's easy for the brand. At a later stage, we can look at connecting with your CRS, CNexus, et cetera, to facilitate a more efficient process. There's also, on the right here, you can see a template that's been designed. So we can design templates where the customer service agents can pull information about rooms, rates, packages, et cetera, and pull that together into an article to send back to the customer so that they have the booking outline that they can confirm, and then the agent can make a booking. How CanCan is sort of adding value in this situation? The AI-powered product recommendations. So the customer service agent is able to provide much faster and smarter responses and servicing, because the AI is providing recommendations about dates, about rates, etc., on the side of the screen, which they can plug straight into the chat with the customer. And as I mentioned, those customized templates we can use to build structured information that's contextual, that we can send straight back to the customer to address their exact questions. At the pre-check-in stage, we've got all of these things that people need. Can I have an early check-in? What kind of pillows do I want? You know, can you help organize an airport transfer, or where is my airport transfer? Again, they've got a direct line, a direct engagement channel through to a concierge service to get those questions answered. Now, in the hotel, I think this is probably one of the more exciting opportunities or use cases for hotels, is the in-hotel experience. We've listed some basic opportunities there. So you've got so many touch points with your customers inside a hotel, and then so many different kinds of services you can provide: room service, F&B, incidentals. These things can all be delivered remotely, for example, from a room, from outside the hotel. You can be ordering your room service, for example, while you're on the way back to the hotel using your mobile, and someone inside the hotel with the mobile app, for example, can be agilely serving that need and making sure that that's ready for you when you get back. That's just a very basic example. But I think one of the more interesting examples is really around the concierge. So the destination guide. You know, we rely on concierges for that local knowledge to give us great restaurant tips, to tell us the quickest way to get to that attraction, to help us maximize our time during a short stay, for example. This is an area where we think can really help guests to have a better experience. I think we can also help hotels deliver much more agile customer service through that concierge function. So as I mentioned, the Hilton Hotel Mini Program, we think this is something that can be optimized quite quickly and quite effectively with a messaging line through to the concierge, so that you've got that extra bit of support while you're out in destination, trying to have a good time. Again, where we see Kankan providing, you know, a value add there is that agile guest servicing on the go. That mobile app interface, for example, is allowing different operational staff within the hotel to respond to different guests at different places. It's very flexible and easy to provide service on the go. And it increases your service team productivity. So even during downtimes, when they're not having face-to-face service interactions, there are multiple points in and outside the hotel where guests can be getting into touch with them. And there are multiple staff with access to the mobile app that can provide services back to those guests. After they leave, you know, George touched on this a little bit. There are ways to reach out to try and convert, let's say, guests into brand ambassadors, to share the UGC, to drive word of mouth, which creates a feedback loop for awareness. We want an endorsement. We want more people to know about the hotel, and they trust their friends and relatives and family and things like that with their recommendations. So that's really important. But also, we've got short-term and long-term benefits because of the data that we've collected during our chats. We've collected WeChat Open IDs each time someone has entered the chat with us. We've built some customer profile data about this person. We've got different opportunities because of different functions within WeChat to reach out to them. For example, we have 48 hours to reach out, and they also have obviously the chance to reach out to us. So we can look at, you know, a next stay or a loyalty scheme membership offer after they've checked out. In the longer term, we've got that tagged and segmented customer data for that WeChat CRM potential. So in the longer term, separating our WeChat fans, instead of them being a giant unsegmented lump, we're segmenting them into different groups, past guests. We're segmenting them by their profile data, you know, married, single, have kids, etc. And we're providing, you know, personalized content marketing services to them. We can also look longer term at the loyalty concierge. So we've got concierge services already, for example, being built in for in-hotel guests. But for those guests that become loyalty members, we can integrate loyalty with the WeChat account and offer a concierge service for their Q&A needs, for their points management, redemption, and more. So that's a really personalized premium service we can deliver through this kind of mobile messaging app. So again, where we see Kankan adding value here is building those rich customer profiles, enabling that customer tagging and segmentation, and then enabling that short and long-term targeted marketing and customer service potential. I think I kind of touched on this already, but I think a really important thing here is what we mentioned at the beginning of my part of the presentation. How do you get to know people? You need to have a conversation with them. So we're actually collecting real customer profile data when we're talking to people through a platform like this. We're not just making assumptions based on, you know, anonymous cookie behavior and things like this. We know what this person wants and who they are. You know, are they, as I keep touching on, are they married? Are they single? Do they travel with their parents? These kinds of things. We can start segmenting them by these different profiles. So, and then we can marry that kind of information up with their WeChat Open ID. So there is potential there to optimize your WeChat marketing in the long term to provide much more segmented and personalized marketing campaigns on your WeChat account. So really important data collection in this phase is the WeChat Open ID. Collecting that ID, this is the encrypted information about the user on WeChat, marrying that up with some customer profile data, and then looking at how that can inform or empower your WeChat CRM strategy. So some takeaways, I know I'm rushing through fast. For the customer, this kind of messaging channel is really responsive, frictionless channel for service across the entire customer journey. We've already mapped this out. Pre-stay, during stay and post-stay, there are opportunities to provide great customer service to them to maximize their customer experience. They get what they need when they need it in context. So this is quite different to, you know, rich content, engagement campaigns and things like this. This is real interactive customer service. On the brand side or on the hotel side, you've actually created a new customer interaction channel through WeChat. And with that interaction channel, you've got opportunities for engagement to nurture and engage leads before they make the decision to book. You've got acquisition potential to convert those leads to the booking functions. And then you've got the potential to collect a lot of customer profile data, which has long-term benefits for post-stay phase as well. So that's a bit of a summary. I think I might hand over to Sienna to just quickly give you an outline of our next webinar, and then we'll jump straight into Q&A.
Thank you, Saxon. Just announcing our next webinar. It will be on Wednesday, the 18th of July, and we'll be looking at a half year in review for 2018, looking at trends in Chinese outbound travel as well as the Chinese digital landscape. And we'll also have a chance then to have a first look at our H1 results for our WeChat rankings. We have been collecting data on WeChat accounts for national tourism boards, destination management organizations, airlines and cruise lines for over a year now. But this will be the first time that we're able to release a quarterly report that includes hotel information as well as museums and attractions, which are the two new categories that we added this April. So just like this webinar, it will be held at 2 different time frames for different time zones, and you can already find more information about the webinar and register for it on our website. I would also encourage you, if you don't already, to have a look at some of the resources on our website. We have lots of blog articles, WeChat reviews, videos, presentations that you can look through that are all for free, and also to follow us on social media where we post lots of industry news as well as our own content on Twitter, LinkedIn, and Facebook. So thank you very much, everyone. I think we'll move on to the Q&A section now. If you have questions, as I sent over before in the chat, it's great to use the Q&A button. And I can see that we already have a couple of questions here that we can answer. So the first question from Roger is, how can we best engage with Chinese clients pre-stay if we do not have their WeChat yet? I don't know if George or Saxon would like to answer that. Oh, I guess we're answering the questions by text, but it might be good to answer them out loud because other people might have the same questions.
So,
okay, I can talk a little bit about this one. I think having a WeChat account is great because you have your branded presence on WeChat. If you don't have a WeChat account and you cannot set up a WeChat account in the short term, there are ways for you to participate in some of the shared content channels. All you need is to get, a QR code with some other account. We can give you some recommendations offline, and then you can, get a QR code that you can use to promote your presence on WeChat. You can also deliver content through those shared presence on WeChat. Again, we can give you more details offline.